All right. Well, this has been a long time coming because, well, first of all, as you don't know, the person that I got on the screen with me, he's a longtime buddy of mine. I know he's a Dolphins fan, but he's a Celtics fan, so that one I can respect. We just got done playing a game in Delirious Enterprises for named Traders. So, Cat and Fair, hi in the chat. Um, Jay, how are you, buddy?
Buddy, I'm like, I swear to God, I think the people in traders were telling us to be quiet one more time and stop typing. Either that or somebody, the powers that be, knew I was going to come on here and probably moan and groan about the Jalen Brown trade. So it tried to stop me from like getting on. I swear to God that we've been trying this for like 45 minutes for me just to fit connect to the damn thing. But I'm glad to be here with you, brother. Thanks for bringing me on. Always enjoy chatting with you.
No, you're good. And like I said, I respect you as a Dolphins fan, but it's F the Dolphins all day, and I know it's F the Patriots with you all day.
Oh yeah, I'd say 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I like the Red Sox and I like the Celtics, and yeah,
Hey,
so
hey,
we'll
eight in
overlook
a
the other
hey,
transgressions.
hey, Red Sox won 8 in a row, so that's great.
Oh God, ain't that now they're stepping it up. Now let's see what they do with the deadline. Hopefully they add some pieces, or either that or some of these pieces are start to put it together. That I have high expectations for, like Roman Anthony when he comes back from health, or but
Yeah,
if the pitching's looking good, Peyton Toll is just Peyton's such a stud, dude. He's gonna be right up there with Skeens and Mizorowski within the next year and a half, and we're talking in the same breath. And his team, it's in the right direction. I'm happy about that.
me too. But yeah, the reason why I wanted you to come on is, of course, the Celtics only talk because bro, there's a lot of shit that went down for the Celtics that we have to get off our chest in the past couple that happened in the past week.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been interesting to say the least, hasn't it?
It has. So I'm gonna run this down for everyone that hasn't been paying attention. Um, the Celtics were in trade talks with the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis to and Jalen Brown. Well, that didn't happen because Giannis went to the Miami Heat. Fuckers. Um, And again, to anybody that's watching, this is not a PG show. Whatever I say, whatever Jay say, he can say whatever the fuck he wants, as long as we don't get canceled. But that's all I'm gonna say. Um, the second thing is, the Celtics were in trade talks, I think, with the Portland Trailblazers, but John Morant went there. So Jay, you would have thought that, hey, Jalen Brown, you want to go to a Western Conference team like the Denver Nuggets? Nope, he goes to Philly.
That that's where I don't understand. I don't understand how any of this came to be, and I've seen people come up with logic or reasons or thought behind why. People saying Brown's value wasn't what we thought. No kid. I mean, honest to God, I just fail to understand how they went from him being the focal point of a trade for Giannis to this lump of shit they got in return. Like, you got Paul George, who has the worst contract in the NBA that the Sixers were dying to get rid of. They would have probably taken the John Morant package that, to get just to get rid of George.
Yep.
And, 2 first round picks, 2 seconds. Well, it's first round picks. Yeah, they're going to be in the bottom of the first round. So it's basically 2 second rounders and 2 lottery pick second rounders that are likely not even to make the team. If they make the team, they'll be playing in Portland. It just, something's not adding up here. You're not going to sit there and tell me you couldn't have gotten far more than a guy who's got two. His body's on E. He's near the end of his damn career, and I mean, in draft picks, it doesn't add up. And you're not going to sit there and tell me that Hugo fucking Gonzalez was what really held them up from trading Jalen for Giannis. Not when you look at what the Heat gave up to get him. I mean, they gave up a guy who just threw fists with his old teammate in Las Vegas. Well, what are we doing
That
here?
was great. No, that was great. That was great. I was like, yep, this is going to be the rivalry between Tyler Hill and Bam Adebayo now.
Well, yeah, it's like it's Biggie and Tupac, and they're going Biggie and Tupac on each other in Las Vegas. So clearly there was bad blood before that. The best they get is Tyler Hero, and I mean, come on now. There's something stinks in Denmark, and Brad Stevens is smarter than this. That's where I'm really lost.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. They said like, well, Jalen Brown had the choice of where he wanted to go, or Jalen Brown's camp had the choice of where he wanted to go. So if that's true, why did his agent say like I'm green lighting this trade to go to a team that just beat us in a 7 game series? That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Justin, you're 36. I'm 47. Okay. They traded him to the arch rival. And I don't give a shit if what Jalen wants or not. Yes, I know he's a free agent at the end of next year and he can leave and go for nothing anyhow. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm not giving Jalen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers, knowing he's A, in a walk year, and B, he's going to be pissed off that the Celtics traded him there. Okay. And they didn't give him whatever the reasoning was, because he wasn't heralded as much in the organization as Tatum. I don't know.
To be fair, Jalen Brown is still in the contract for 2 more years, but I can understand your point.
Yeah, so 2 more years. So you're going to send him there for 2 more. That makes it even worse. That makes it even worse because you're trading for 2 more years. So for a fact he's going to stuff it to he's going to want nothing more than to stuff it to the Boston Celtics. You know this.
You know what this reminded me of, and I'm pretty sure you could agree with this. It's like when the Red Sox trade Mookie Betts to the Dodgers.
Oh my God, yes. That's still a stick in my side. It will be for the rest of my life. That's another thing. I do not understand what teams in the city of Boston are thinking with the crap they do. I swear to God, y'all's head coach spent the last 7.5 years playing grab ass with Diana Rossini, and he's thinking more with his head on top of his shoulders than Brad Stevens
Oh my god!
and the Celtics and Boston Red Sox were in those two deals.
Oh my god! Yes. Oh, you
Instead of
know what?
dying, we were all Diana Rossini over the last week.
And you know what? I was so sick and tired of that news for the past couple of months when it first came out. Now I just can't help but laugh the fuck at it.
Oh, I'm the same way, bro. I said if I hear one more story about how Mike Rabel was fucking dipping his dill pickle into the reporter's asshole or wherever he was sticking it is, I was like, I don't want to hear this shit anymore, man. Like, come on, it doesn't matter. I want to talk about good shit, like
Yeah,
trades and free agency in the draft. I don't want to talk about smut. And this is coming from me, where that's 3/4 of my vernacular, you know. But
yeah.
I don't want to hear this crap, man. I don't care who does who, when they do it, how they do it. I don't care if they knock boots in the backseat of a damn BMW outside of the freaking stadium in Foxborough. It ain't none of my business. But
But
now I feel like Diana Rossini after this trade. And then you brought up Mookie Betts. That's still a fresh wound. I mean, it's bad enough you trade a guy named Mookie, you get a guy named Jeter in return. I mean, that's number one kick in the nuts. And then they get a guy named Wong in return, which is exactly what we all took, the long Wong. It sucks, man.
I mean, I don't blame Sale for leaving. I don't blame Eovaldi for leaving. I don't blame Bogarts for leaving. I certainly, as hell, do not blame Devers for leaving. But when you trade a guy who was your MVP in the 2018 World Series year, that's a oof.
It didn't even resonate. Like Mookie was still years away from hitting his prime. I mean, he was just getting into his prime, but years left. I mean, with Devers, I can make sense of it. Now, granted, I'm a lot more pissed off about the players they traded from the Devers deal and got diddly squat in return. But at least that made some sense. There was problems with he and the organization. That contract is quickly becoming sunk cost. Um, and so, yeah, let's get rid of him now before it becomes an even bigger headache and a more financially, negative one down the road. But that Mookie one, I swear it will never make sense. It will never make sense. And people sit there and argue, well, it's because, he's going to get too expensive. Bro, we're the Boston Red Sox. We're not the damn Ash. We're not the Athletics or the Pirates or the Rays. Not the Marlins.
Right,
We're not a penny pinching organization. They could afford what Mookie was asking. And then
right. But back on the, but yeah, that I just wanted to bring that up because it kind of felt like the Red Sox trained Mookie to the evil empire, even though he went to the Dodgers.
That's let me put this into perspective for you guys that don't watch baseball. Okay, he brought up a good Justin brought up a good point. They traded him to the Dodgers, which sucks enough. This would be akin to them trading Mookie at the time to the New York Yankees in exchange for I'm trying to think of what's even fair. I mean, was Brett Gardner still around at that time?
I think so.
So I mean, this would have been like them trading him to the Yankees for a past his prime guy who the Yankees were desperate to get rid of anyway because his contract sucked and a couple of A ball players. I mean, it was illogical.
Well, the drama continued for Jalen Brown after this trade because everyone was getting so pissed off about what he said on his Twitch stream, saying this season was the best season of my career. Now, granted, I took that the wrong way, saying like, "Hey, Jalen, does this not mean anything to you?"
Yeah,
But no, but I think what he meant by that is that everyone was kind of like doubting the Celtics when Jason Tatum was out, and they didn't think that the Celtics were gonna be like a top six team in the Eastern Conference. Jalen Brown proved them wrong, and they brought him to the number two seed. But to say that this was his best season, dude, if I was Jalen Brown, I would have rewarded it. This is one of two best seasons in his career.
I mean, there's a personally rewarding, and then there's a again, it depends upon what matters more to you, your aura, your stats, or your rings, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, when you win an NBA championship in Boston, you are something, you become a whole different level of player, right? I mean, how many greats played for this organization between their last title win in the 80s and that great team in 2008 with Kevin Garnett? How many great players hit this organization that never won squat? And, and that's why they're not held in the, same regard. I mean, like, you win a championship with the Celtics, there is no equal to this. You become almost an iconic figure. And he was part of that. He was a big part of that. Whether you think him or Tatum were more important is irrelevant. He was a part of that and a substantial one at that.
Yeah, and then and then the comments are like, well, did Tatum want Brown traded? No, Tatum did not want Brown traded. Tatum wanted Brown here. Brown said like at the end of the NBA Finals MVP that he got, he's sharing this with Jason Tatum. That's his brother. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm looking forward to the Brown versus Celtics rivalry because I'm telling you right now, there is bad blood between Brown and the Celtics because whatever happened behind closed doors, they're not telling us.
They're not. And I don't think we'll ever know. This is, ironically enough, because they beat them to win a championship. This is like the Luca deal.
Yep.
When Luca is, given away for even that deal, I mean, unless you sit there and tell me that the Celtics or the Sixers are going to completely stink to bed next year, and the Celtics are going to wind up with the number one overall pick and a handshake deal like the Mavericks got, then it'll make a lot of sense because that's what happened with the Mavs with Cooper Flag. But even then,
Yep.
there is no Cooper Flag in next year's draft.
No, there isn't.
So that is one thing I did mention. Somebody did mention to me, Justin, is that this could be just start opening the door for them to eventually get Flag. If that's what you're waiting for, it's going to be a long few years because he's not leaving after 4 years in Dallas. So if you're willing to wait 7, 8 more years or 6 more years to get Cooper Flag, this is illogical and phallic. It doesn't make sense. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the sign of Mitchell Robinson because where he just came off winning a championship, and I love the sign of Mike Conley. And I know sooner or later we're gonna start getting used to Paul George. But the Celtics even wanted to get this, and I think this is where it got shut down for the Philly trade. the Celtics also won VJ Edgecombe in that trade with Paul George. Philly shut it down. They were like, no, we're going to give you Paul George and 2 first-round picks. You just give us Jalen.
To me, though, okay, I get why Philadelphia shot that down. I probably would have too. Edgecombe's younger, he's cheaper, okay, and dude's a beast. Now, is he more proven than Braun at this point? No, but he looked like in his rookie year he was that dude. But this is where, if that is the case, Brad Stevens is no dumbass. Okay, this guy is normally one of the better GMs and one of the better executives in sports. You're going to sit there and tell me they couldn't have pulled a third team into this? They could not have pulled a third team and got, again, keep your expectations realistic, but you couldn't have gotten a young, recently drafted over the last 2 years asset that's shown some, some oomph factor. Like Portland, you couldn't have gotten Shaden Sharp out of the deal. It just doesn't. They were in the driver's seat with this trade. They're the one giving away the asset. And that'd be like asking for $1 million for your car, the person saying no, and then you settling for $5.50. That's what the Celtics basically did here. They settled. And this is one of those things that could wind up costing people their jobs.
Look, I don't know, but this season's just going to turn out to be interesting. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to say. It's just going to turn out to be interesting.
Well, I'll just say this. My deepest hope is that we get a healthy Paul George, and maybe Paul George, and this is very pessimistic, maybe Paul George gets pissed at the Sixers were that willing to discard of him after he left his home state team to go there, right after he left the Clippers to go there. Maybe he's going to play with a fire in his ass, and he's going to remain healthy, which is something he has not done. I don't think he's played what's akin to a full season in the last 2 years since he signed that contract. Maybe this will be the year, though. He hasn't, so there you go. That makes it even worse. You're getting a beat-up, injury-prone guy who's 35, whose numbers declined. But maybe next year he plays a full schedule, and we see what Paul George was, what the Sixers thought he was going to be when they signed him, when Oklahoma City traded for him from Indiana, when the Clippers gave up SGA and every draft pick over the next 15 years. Not really, but so many draft assets to get him. Maybe they'll see that Paul George, and the Celtics will win an NBA title next year, and we'll be sitting there saying, all right, this was a win-win situation. But again, that's thinking way too freely.
Yeah. The one last thing I wanted to bring up, and I know I said this wasn't going to be a long video. What do you think Jason Tatum's feeling right now?
Confused. I think Jason is going into the prime of his career now. And yeah, there's some aura of playing with Paul George. Fair. But he's got to be thinking, unless that relationship is more tattered than any of us realize, and by all accounts and purposes, it's not. He's got to be thinking, what just happened? I mean, we were on top of the world not even 3 years ago, right? And now the two of us who brought this organization back to championship glory, back to powerhouse status, we've been split up, and this is what we got in return. He's got to be as confused as we are, probably more so, because he's on the inside.
Yeah. I just really hope that Jason Tatum feels this energy, feels this frustration, and every time he sees Jaylen Brown, look, I know Jason and Jaylen are gonna be bros for life, but I'm looking forward to seeing who can score, who can outscore the other when we play the 76ers.
Absolutely. That's my hope too, is that, what, look, let's get some competitiveness. Let's put the other BS in the back door, in the back mirror, the rear view, and let's see a competitive game between the two. And I hope amongst hope that the Celtics And maybe Mitchell Robinson comes in there, and I think he is vastly underrated. I think he's a very underappreciated player throughout the league. I think he will be a big upgrade for the Celtics at the center position. All we can hope for at this point is this happens. Pritchard takes another step in his career, becomes, that continues to be that scoring machine, and it takes away some of the loss of Brown. And, maybe, just maybe, George stays hurt. Those picks wind up being a hell of a lot higher than, not George doesn't stay hurt, excuse me, Brown, whatever. Maybe they don't mesh and the Sixers are mediocre. That's all we can hope for at this point.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I know this was in a short. I know this is like a 21-minute video, but hey, this was part one. Jay and I have a lot more to come, down the road. You're not done seeing him.
Oh, yeah. This is hopefully only just the beginning. I'll be here anytime you need me to help out. If you want me to do it all the time, hey, you give me a word, I'll be here.
Sounds good. Well, hey Jay, thank you so much for joining me. And again, I didn't want to go live without you hearing me. So that I don't I don't care how long it took. I just wanted to make sure that you could hear me, and I could still hear you, but I wanted to make sure that you could hear me. Main part.
You're a good brother, man. I appreciate you being so patient. And I said, I'm glad we're doing this together. You're a good dude. You've always been a good friend, and I look forward to many more years to come.
Uh, and look at that, Cat's looking forward to it too.
See, we got two people. We already got our first two listeners. We see business is picking up, my brother.
Yes, it is. And fair said it's going to be a fun ride. Yeah, if I hope you guys have subscribed because you guys are probably gonna get sick of us. I mean, it's not like you haven't gotten sick of us in the Traders game already. So
I think they see. I'll tell you a little secret. One of these people in this chat room murdered both of us in the end. And she did it. She says she felt bad about doing it, but the reality is she probably got sick of my bullshit. So it's like, here, you're banished to hell.
uh, anyways, guys, Jay and I will talk to you later. But this was always fun, and anytime that him and I can do a Celtic show, then we can always do it.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
No problem, Jay. Have a good one, bro.
You too. Take care, bro.